and we're really excited to have you all. Let me start it over again. Sorry, we're going to start recording now. Hello, everybody. My name is Isela Bonada, a mentor here with Powur from Southern California. Welcome to our weekly Women of Power training. We're so excited to have you all here. Today we have Marissa Fletcher, Cynthia Vidres. As you all know, they did win the trip for Prosperity Homes with Powur. So they are this weekend, if you didn't keep updated on the postings, them and along with other of our top 20 consultants went to Ensenada, Mexico to build a home. So we're very excited because Marissa and Cynthia both worked really, really hard. And I know Marissa, well, her dream was to go there, and she had that. Both of them worked amazingly well. And we're so proud to have these two women that are part of our Women of Power group to be able to represent us and to build a home for a family in need, and to be able to, put solar on their home. So very proud of them and very, honored for them to be also part of our platform. Also, if we want to get started, we're gonna get started with some wins. So for all of us on this, we want to share wins, whether you're new to the platform and this is your first time joining us here. Let us know who you are and where you're calling from. Also, if you have got an electric bill, if you had a recent install, if you have a new ambassador, if you helped a family go solar, if you set an appointment, received a referral, we're all about, positive awareness. We're all learning here on the platform, and we want to celebrate, our wins. If you went to the gym this week, like myself, this is my first week back, we're getting ready for 2023 today, not in January, today. So I'm very, very excited to have you all. If you want to start with any wins, Chrislyn or anybody on the call, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, I would actually. Who's that? I'm sorry. Go for it.
Hello? Oh.
Oh, go for it, Chrislyn.
Okay. Well, we did have a win. I wanted to shout out Stephanie Nava. I don't think she's on here, but she's been going at it real hard with door knocking since about a month ago. And at first she wasn't really seeing the fruits of it, but yesterday she closed her second deal and helped another family go solar. So just shout out to her for just working really hard and not giving up. So shout out to Stephanie Nava. Anyone else?
I'll share a quick win. So as you all know, I love
I'd like to share some wins.
Oh, go for it. Go first.
Hi, this is Vicky. Can y'all see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Oh, okay. I like to share my win. This week I got an electric bill a couple of days ago, and in the last 2 weeks I got a recruit. So I'm really excited.
That's exciting. That's really, really, really exciting.
Just when I thought we're heading towards the holiday, and since I've been cold calling, but then this opportunity came up. Somebody wanted to do solar, and I might have another one too coming up. So that's in the works. So I'm really excited.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Hopefully have a good end of year.
Yes, I think a lot of if you see online, everybody's getting ready for 2023. So just because the holidays are coming around, I think a lot of people are really focusing on building 2023. So congratulations, Vicky. That's awesome. And then I'll just share. It's like Kristen said, like it's all about planting seeds, right? So my brother's a firefighter, so I love my first responders. I went to go visit a fire station, brought them lunch, everything was planned, just a conversation. I got 3 people interested. I got a bill, and I was able to close him on Monday. That was like the easy sale.
Great.
No, like I got another quote or anything like that. So I love working with the fire department. So I was able to do that. So, and then also I'm very humbled always when a mentee seeks out for my help. So we have that appointment. We had a great discovery call. So then that owner decided to move forward so we can give him a proposal. So I'm very excited for Steven Castro. He's out in Florida. So anyways, anybody else, please feel welcome to share a win.
This is Claudia Nobles. I want to share just a quick, Or maybe I had already mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. I have a brand new recruit. I thought she would be in here, but she's not, Veronica Lopez. And then also I just got an email this morning that one of my clients, they're getting ready for the permit.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
So we're getting closer.
Yeah,
All
that
right,
reminds
awesome.
me, there's a lot of installations that have been happening for me in the last 2 weeks that I can't even keep track anymore. One day, I remember I used to hear those stories. I was like, but now it's happening to me. So I'm very excited. So that it'll happen. Just you know, it's all about just moving forward. So I'm very excited. So congratulations. Anybody else
Excellent.
want to share a win?
I have a
Lily.
big win. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Lily.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry for my voice. I have a sore throat. Yeah, I want to share my win. I brought in a new consultant who is so fired up to start. He wants to build a team right away, and we'll start the 90-day blitz. We'll attend the opportunity webinar, opportunity meeting at the Downey office tonight. Unfortunately, I can't go, but I'm so excited for him. I also have like scheduled installations in the next week and the following week. That's it. Enjoy your day,
Awesome.
guys.
Thanks, Lily. Congrats.
Thank you.
I wanted to share something I heard today from Trent Shelton. I love listening to Trent Shelton. He has a great podcast. It says, stop making excuses for your greatness. So, you know, just make a decision today and move forward with communicating and letting everybody know like what we do, because you never know who's looking for an opportunity out there. Anybody else
right.
before we move on to our special guest?
I see
Don't be
Giselle's
shy.
hands up. Go
Okay.
ahead, Giselle.
Hi, I'm Joel Giselle, based out of Southern California, Victorville. So I had a personal horrid experience when I was installing my panels, and it's been a long time coming. But I'm, looking back, I'm like grateful that it happened the way it did, because I learned so much, and I'm glad that I learned through my own, my own project, rather than having my customers, go through it and me not knowing what's going on. So I learned that with manufactured homes, the permitting has to be done through the state, not through the city. And because they did it incorrectly and went through the city first, it's taken about 4 months to travel through that. And today I'm finally having my state inspection to hopefully
Oh,
start.
awesome.
So it is a
Wow.
big win that I'm celebrating.
Wow. I think I helped you when you first got you signed your contract, right? I was back in
You did.
June, July.
Yeah,
Wow.
we started back in March.
Oh,
So
March. Wow.
yes.
Well, yay. That's something to celebrate for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, one thing I always tell my customers is, you're here to partner with it's a mini construction partner. A project. It's a mini construction project. So who you partner with is really important. I always tell them I've seen it all, but one thing is we always come through. So congratulations. Anybody else? Kristen, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I just
think
didn't
we're
know
good.
if I was frozen. Okay, well, we can go ahead and move on to our very, very special guest. We're really, really excited to have Michele Spina from SolarEdge. As you all know, that's one of our favorite inverters here with Powur. And she's going to be sharing some product knowledge. And the product knowledge is so that, we can be more confident and we're finding a solution for our homeowner. And so she's going to be going over that. So we're really excited to have Michele Spina. So Michele, the floor is all yours.
Great. Hi, everybody. I just want to do a quick check. You can hear me?
Yes.
All right. Okay, let me share my screen. Thank you so much for having me. I will say this is very refreshing to have this many women in the same room in solar. You don't see it very often. It's very empowering. I've been in solar for 12 years. So I was in your shoes for a long time, selling in the home and helping people to go solar on their house in Southern California. Actually, I'm in Ventura, California now, but became the national training manager for Sunrun for 6 years after that. And now I'm at SolarEdge For 3 years. My whole goal is to help residential sales reps understand our technology and how it helps your customers. So I know that, this team and sales reps, you don't generally sell the inverter, right? You're selling the solution. And so I want to talk about how our solution is actually helping you to sell that overall solution. So just a quick, I would love to see in the chat box, just a quick gauge or raise your hand. How many people have been in solar for over a year here? If you want to raise your hand. Okay, I see a couple. Okay, hey, Tracy. All right, so great. And so then I would assume under a year for most of us here. Anybody just start with Powur? Oh, good. 2-year anniversary, good to see. Anybody just start? Oh, great. Okay, so I will say, Powur is a great partner with SolarEdge, and if I were to sell with any company, I'd be with Powur. So you're in a really great spot. Okay, so next question I have for this group. Can anybody here tell me the difference between a microinverter and an optimizer? Don't be shy. No wrong answers. Anybody? Or maybe why it's important to know that? All right, so let's talk about it. So what is happening on the roof with your systems? And by the way, these are the two solutions you have in your Powur platform. Is you have a microinverter solution with Enphase. You have a SolarEdge optimized solution with optimizers from SolarEdge. So those are the two options you have in your platform. There's also a technology out there called a string inverter. So you don't see these very often, but they are out there. They're very inexpensive in places that have full sun, no shade, no obstructions at all on the roof. These are okay to have because the shading is not an issue. But the challenge with this is if one module is shaded, then the rest of the panels are going to be impacted by that. So it's always going to be limited to the lowest producing module on the string. Let's talk about microinverter technology. So what's happening with the microinverters is that inverter. Well, let's start here. What does the inverter do in a system? Anybody? Come on, ladies.
It converts the direct current into alternating current.
Yep, thanks, Gail. So that's exactly what it does. The inverter is really the critical component of the system. It's working the hardest with in the system in order to ensure that we can actually use that energy in the house. The panels are really just collecting that energy. The inverter is the thing that is working to get that converted or processed. I like to kind of think about it like a processing. So a microinverter is doing that on the roof. They have little mini inverters on every single module, and it's converting at a module level. So what happens with that is you're actually losing quite a bit of energy on the module level when that happens, because there's only a certain amount of energy that can be converted from a microinverter on the roof. So for example, if this team's using a 400 watt module, that microinverter you're pairing with it can only convert 290 watts at any given time. So you're always going to lose a bit of energy. SolarEdge is really known for maximizing the potential on the roof. So your modules can reach their full potential, and you're actually making up for shaded modules on the roof by these optimizers bucking and boosting their voltage to kind of work harder to make up for shading. So these optimizers on the roof, they're not doing anything to convert energy. They're actually just making sure that those modules are working independently. So if there's shading, these ones have nothing to do with it. They're working all independently. So we convert at the wall level, and that is with this inverter. So we have the optimizers on the roof, and then we have an inverter on the wall. So I want to talk about specifically the Powur platform and what inverter options you have with SolarEdge in that platform. So you have option 1. This is a basic solar only inverter. So if you look at your Solo tool and you see inverters that say SE. There's a number there. And then, it just says SE 7600 US, for example. Those are all basic solar only inverters. Those are for homeowners that don't want batteries, that don't want to connect any smart energy devices now or later. They just want to save money. They just want to go solar today. So you have that option. Or you have option number 2, which is called the Energy Hub. So that'll say SE 7600 Energy Hub. That's a flexible inverter. So that allows you to add batteries today. That allows you to add EV chargers. Or if that homeowner later wants to add a battery, they could do that as well. So this is a flexible inverter. Many times people will sell this to your homeowners so that they do have the ability to upgrade later. This includes a production and consumption meter. So inside of this inverter, there is a production meter and a consumption meter. So for your homeowners, what that means is they are able to monitor and track how much their solar is producing and also how much their home is using. So how many of us have had homeowners come back to us and say, hey, I thought I wasn't going to have a utility bill? That probably happens a lot. So when they can track production and consumption, this avoids that conversation because they can see how much they're using in the house relative to how much the solar is producing.
Hey, Michelle.
Yeah, Tracy.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So if a homeowner gets option 1, just the basic, and then 5 years later they decide they want a battery or they're getting an electric vehicle,
Yeah.
do they have to replace that inverter, or can the inverter be upgraded?
They will have to replace, it's generally the same thing. They will have to upgrade that inverter by replacing it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So what size inverter do you need? So that's always the biggest question that we get, especially in the tools where, you have multiple different options. So a good rule of thumb is the inverter number that's associated with the inverter. So if you look down on your proposal tool, you'll see different numbers. There's going to be a 3.8, a 6, a 7.6, a 10, an 11.4. Those are all inverter sizes. If you multiply that inverter size by 1.4, that's going to be the maximum solar system size you can put on that inverter. Okay, so let's do an example. And I hate math as much as the next person, but let's talk about the maximum solar system you can put on a 7600 inverter in the Powur platform. So remember, if you have a 7600 and it's multiplying it by 1.4 in order to get that system size, what system size can you put on a 7600? Anybody? I'm gonna do the quick math here. Anyone have that magic number yet?
10,640. Would that be correct?
Great. Yes. So that is in watts. So you can always just take away those zeros. So it would be 10.6 kW. So if you have a homeowner that needs a 10.6 kW, for example, you can use the 7600 inverter. That's the maximum size. Here's the good news. The good news is the Powur platform is going to automatically select the inverter size you need. So you won't have to do this math very often, but sometimes sales reps, the ones that are the most experienced in going out there, they like to triple check this because we have seen a couple of times where the Solo platform will select an inverter that you could actually select a smaller one. So this is just the quick rule of thumb. You could always just do a triple check on that if you want to double check on your proposals. Any questions on the inverter itself before we jump into the ecosystem of products?
Just really quickly, sometimes I'll see for SolarEdge, like it'll have one inverter and then it's plus another one. Is it because it's on two different arrays? Is it because it's already maxed out? If it's a bigger system, right? It's maxed out that calculation, right? So sometimes they have two inverters, correct?
That's right. So and you're absolutely right, is that would be if the inverter is maxed out already. So if you're selling like a 12 kW system, for example, you would likely have a 7.6 and a 3.8, so that you would be able to reach that 12 kW system. We do have a larger inverter size. It for some reason hasn't been integrated into the Powur platform recently. So we are working on that. So you should see very soon an 11.4 kW. Let's just do the quick math on 11.4 and see what system size we can put on that. So if you have an 11.4 kW and you could, maximize that at 1.4, does anybody have the math there?
15.96.
Yep, there you go, Gail. So 15.96 would be the size you can put on that one inverter. So you will see a larger inverter soon in the Powur platform, and it would be that 11.4. We're seeing so many more larger systems that we need to add that to the Powur platform. Great. So you have these products available to you in the Powur platform. I want to ask this group, how are batteries going? What is, out of, let's say, 10 systems you sell, how many actually have a battery on them right now?
For me, 0. But
Okay.
I did set up one home with the Energy Hub, or so the correct inverter. So because they want to add a battery later.
Great. Yeah,
Set up
that's
the
the Energy Hub. Perfect.
I've
Anybody?
sold I've sold 2 batteries.
Great.
One actually I have a question for, but I'll wait until the end.
Okay. Don, are you selling in SoCal too, or where are you selling?
Yeah, I'm in SoCal.
Okay.
I just met you up at the training up in Downey. So
Oh yeah, I can't see your face. I would otherwise probably recognize you, but there you are. Good to see you. So you do have the battery in your proposal tool. I will say, if you're selling in Southern California, we are getting some new net metering policies that are coming in that are going to make batteries much more necessary, because essentially NEM 3.0 is not giving a great rate for exporting your power. So as an alternative, homeowners will start wanting to store their energy so they can use it for their own use during the nighttime hours. We're going to see it really bump up that battery interest. So this is the SolarEdge home ecosystem. It starts with the optimizers. Remember that home hub inverter is the one that you need for batteries. Our battery can essentially power 30% more things in the house and is 6% more efficient than the competitor that you have to offer to your homeowners. We also have an EV charger. This is my favorite. Product we have. We actually put it in the Powur platform and it sold out in 2 months. So we are getting that back online with the Powur platform soon. But that EV charger wires directly into the solar system and will be used as a normal EV charger. It's a fast charger. But if that homeowner is producing more energy than the home's using at that time, they can actually throw that energy straight into the car. It's called solar boost mode. So it's a really cool feature. And then we're going to start coming out with these relays and switches very soon as well. So one of the challenges with battery conversations with homeowners, right, is that we have to overcome their misconceptions. Most of the time, the homeowner has a misconception that they're going to power their entire house, right? That it's $1,000 usually, and it's the size of a car battery. That's always the misconception homeowners will start with. But what these smart energy devices are going to do is you're going to actually be able to put these on the really heavy loads like the air conditioner, the pool pump, things like that. And it will automatically turn those big things off in a power outage, but allow the rest of the home to run just fine. Vicky, great question on stock of batteries. We are overflowing with batteries. So if you are ready to sell batteries, they are available and will be installed very quickly. They are on the shelves. So let's talk about that battery. This is a 9.7 kilowatt hour usable capacity, which means you can discharge that 100%. So that is something that you can drain that battery to 9.7 kilowatt hour. The thing that really sets us apart is this round trip efficiency. We're going to talk about that in a second. In California specifically, another thing that is very important that sets us apart is this warranty piece. So your batteries will have a 10-year warranty at 70% capacity retention. That's really an industry standard. You're going to see that a lot. But unlimited cycles is very important because this allows your homeowners to charge and discharge daily without being at risk of warranty. So the other batteries on the market will have a limit to the amount of times that homeowner can charge and discharge the battery. So that's very important for California specifically too. You can put up to 3 batteries on one inverter. You can put up to 9 batteries on an entire system. So we do have a couple in the Palm Desert, Palm Springs, where they're 8 or 9 battery systems, believe it or not. There's a couple of battery installation ways to install. So you can put it on the wall or you can put it on the floor. So they sit on a little rack like this and they can stack one behind the other if that homeowner needs more batteries. Okay, so here is the really big benefit of our battery over the competition. So here's that DC coupled solution. And with DC coupled SolarEdge, you actually have the ability to convert power only one time before you use it in the house. So that really keeps a lot of the energy available to the home because we are only converting once. With AC coupled solutions like Enphase, Tesla, for example, they are converting 3 different times before you can actually even use that energy in the house. So for your homeowner, this equates to about 10 days of free power from that battery, just because it's a more efficient battery. So if that homeowner is looking for, the biggest possible solution for them, they will get that with SolarEdge because they have 10 days of free power. What about electrical upgrades, main panel upgrades? Does that have to happen a lot in your territory? I know in SoCal it definitely does.
Yes. I would say about 20 to 30%. I'm in Denver.
Okay.
About 20 to 30% of my jobs at least have a main panel upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, what does that do to the sale for you?
I enhance it like it's a great enhancement to your whole electrical system, and it's done for a lot less than you would pay an electrician if you were to do this outside. Yeah.
That's great that you're adding the value to that and you're really truly selling it as an upgrade. A lot of homeowners will see that benefit. But every time I saw an electrical upgrade on my proposal, the first thing I thought was, this is going to delay my project. This is going to delay the install. And, a lot of times we can overcome the price of it. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes homeowners are like $3,500. No, I don't have that to add to this. Maybe I'll just wait. But sometimes we can overcome that cost. It's really the delay in project timeline that is the challenge. So we want to avoid electrical upgrades whenever possible. And with SolarEdge, you do that because all of these smart energy devices go straight through the inverter. So this is kind of how they're wired. They're all wired into the inverter. The inverter is taking up the space in the main service panel with one breaker. If you're talking about the microinverter solution, you have the PV taking up space, the battery, and the EV charger. So they're all taking up separate space because there's not something to filter that energy through. So this is what causes electrical upgrades a lot of the time. And you have the ability to avoid them substantially with SolarEdge, even with battery solutions. So I would recommend, side-by-siding the proposals, see if you can avoid electrical upgrades. Even outside of battery solutions, we're avoiding electrical upgrades with solar only as well.
Is there a minimum amps to the electric panel?
Yeah, so a good rule of thumb is, if it is, we have, the 7600 inverter is really the one you guys use the most. That's going to sit on a 40 amp breaker. So all of those batteries, EV chargers, they're sitting on a 40 amp breaker. If your homeowner has a 200 amp service panel, that's going to be no problem at all. In comparison to the microinverter solution, so ours would be taking up 40 amps up to an 11 kW system with 3 batteries potentially and an EV charger. For the in-phase system, you're looking at about 80 to 120 amps of space with that same solution, because they're all taking separate breakers. So it's a substantial number of space when you're talking about that AC coupled. So just a quick, and I mean, I will definitely send this this deck out to the team too, if you're interested. A quick comparison on the advantages of the battery. So we can actually back up about 30% more things in the house, larger devices or more. So we have that ability to back up 30% more loads. Round trip efficiency is 6% higher, so that equates to about 10 additional days of free power. The warranty, remember, your homeowners will have the unlimited cycles with SolarEdge. You can stack up to 3 batteries on an inverter, and we can store any clipped power. So any power that may be lost on the roof is actually thrown into the battery. When we can stay like this on the DC side of the solar system, I know this is nerd talk. Remember, I've been in solar for 12 years. I try to make it simple, but nah. When we can stay on the DC side of the solar system, we can manipulate that energy and determine what the best use case is for it to go to. So we can say the home needs this power, or the battery's charged with it, or the car needs it. So we can actually manipulate it to where it needs to go. That system is going to work intelligently for the homeowner. With this, there's only one route. There's only one route to go with an AC coupled solution. So there's a big advantage at keeping that energy DC as long as possible. Okay, so does everybody have My SolarEdge downloaded on your own phone? This is a really easy thing to use in the house if you don't have it yet. So My SolarEdge app, you don't need a login for this at all. You can actually use the demo sites on the app directly, so that you can show you the homeowner what these are going to look like for them. So those demo sites that you see on the app, they're actually our employees, most of them, but they're real sites that are working today. So this is what your homeowner will see with their system. They'll see how much energy they're producing from their solar system, and then where it's going. So whether they're sending it back to the grid, they're sending it to the house, battery, charger. So that's what your homeowners will see. When they scroll down, they'll see system production and consumption, how much energy they're using in the house relative to how much the solar is producing. And then it's going to follow them throughout the night. So at night, when they want to use their battery, they're going to see it discharging into the house and it being used. So definitely download this so you can show your homeowners. They can also download this and they can just watch it and track it for themselves. A couple other features that are really cool about the battery is your homeowners, if they have a battery, will get a pop-up that tells them they're in backup mode. So when the power's out, they'll get this backup mode pop-up. It'll give them an estimated duration of time they have left on their battery based on their usage. And then WeatherGuard's a safety feature that takes all the weather satellites in the area and will predict a severe weather event and will charge the battery to full capacity before the storm hits. So it's going to ensure that your homeowners have a full battery for any outage situations. This is a really good slide as well to use with homeowners. Biggest question we get generally, how many batteries do I need? I like to keep it pretty simple. So 1 battery, essential loads. This is, you can't live without them, right? I always ask my homeowners, instead of putting disclaimers out there like, hey, you're not going to be able to back up your whole house. I usually like to start with, think about the last time you had an outage. How long did that last? What was most uncomfortable to you in that outage? Tell me about the outage so that they can actually think about what happened last time. If they tell me, well, I threw all the food in my fridge away, that was a big expense. My kids were driving me nuts because it was pitch black. They couldn't They couldn't play any of their games, that type of thing. That to me sounds like an essential loads situation. You know, they need the essentials, 8 to 10 essential loads. Let's do one battery. But the minute that homeowner says, well, I have to use my portable AC heater, like that is an essential thing. I need my portable AC or heater. I need my pool pump. I need my well pump. You need 2 batteries in that case. Okay, that's those heavier loads that you'll need to back up. And then of course there are those homeowners that say, I need my central HVAC on at all times. Those are 3+ batteries. So those are going to be those bigger battery solutions. We're seeing a lot of people sit in these 2 battery systems right now. All right, I want to show you guys something cool that we just came out with. I'm going to send this out. These are all hyperlinks in here for you to use. So we have an interactive brochure. We have an actual brochure you can print if you want. We have that battery sizing sheet that I just showed. We have an estimator tool online that your homeowners can use. But the thing I really want to show is the home selling tool that we just came out with. I used this in a house the other day with a homeowner and they really liked it. So this can be a supplement to you. If you have a presentation already that you use in the house with the homeowner, keep it going, you know, but this could be something that's helpful. So if you press discover everything, it's going to give you a table of contents to navigate to. So I know everybody does a bill review, right? So this Energy Today piece could supplement that bill review if you need some stats on what's happening with energy today. My favorite part though is the smart energy ecosystem. So if you go to that tab, you're going to be able to allow the homeowner to navigate to any of these devices that we have. What I heard from the homeowner I talked to the other day, she was like, this makes it look really high end, really classy. Looks like a whole ecosystem. So it got them excited about seeing the, you know, kind of higher end piece. So if you click on these little plus signs, it's going to take you to these other locations. SolarEdge Home Battery. If they press read more, they're going to get some info on the battery. If they go back to the overview, they can press these other items like the power optimizers. They're going to read more. It's going to either take them to the optimizers or the battery. If you go to the optimizers, it's going to give them the story that I just told you about the optimizers versus microinverters, giving them 10 days of extra power. So you can actually navigate through that ecosystem. You also have the opportunity to talk about SolarEdge if they're looking, you know, sometimes we get homeowners that say things like, well, how do I know that the products you use are going to stay in business? So sometimes you do need to bring that up and show them the accolades. You know, just a couple of things. SolarEdge is the #1 solar inverter company globally. We're in 133 different countries. So we're going to be here a while. One of the really cool things that just came out this year as well, and it's really applicable to this team, especially if you're in SoCal, is we just opened up a manufacturing plant in Mexico. So this is actually going to produce all of our equipment for North America and will allow us to just drive right over the border instead of having to airship things, instead of having to ship them through, you know, the ocean. I mean, we saw our actual boats out on Long Beach port sitting there for months because they couldn't be unloaded with all of the supply challenges that were happening. So we just built our own manufacturing plant in Mexico and all of our equipment's coming through there now. So that's a big benefit in terms of manufacturing.
Go NAFTA.
Yeah, exactly. Last thing I want to mention is if you want to stay connected with us, which I would love this team to stay connected if you're not part of this already, we have a SolarEdge Sales Elite program that is specifically for Resi reps, residential sales reps. We go through interactive live trainings. I just did one on yesterday about generating your own business during the holidays and taking advantage of the holidays to generate business. We do that every month. We have a monthly newsletter, kitchen table selling tools, a lot of giveaways. So if you want to be a part of that and stay connected, we'd love to have you. We have a great YouTube channel that has training videos on it. Edge Academy, which is actual certifications on our products for sales and installation. And then if you're not a part of our Sales Elite Facebook group, please jump on there, because that allows you to send direct messages. I work with sales reps every single day that will just message me like, hey, I have a customer that needs a battery. How many do they need based on their scenario? And I like to answer questions like that whenever I can. So you can connect with me directly through the Sales Elite Facebook group for any of those SOS type situations. Team, that's all I had today. I want to make sure I answer your questions. And I'm going to check chat box. It looks like we have a lot of email addresses. Awesome. Any questions I can answer while I'm here?
This is Claudia. On the YouTube, you said SolarEdge, and that's it? Or
If you look up SolarEdge North America on YouTube, you'll see my face on about 15 videos. I apologize, but that's where a lot of our training is. Vicky, good question. What's the cost per battery? Does anybody have that number in the Powur proposal by chance? Handy?
I can check. Hold on 1 second.
I almost remember that it was, I think, 12 or 14,000 for one battery, because we have to, do the critical loads panel and everything. But on 2 battery systems, that's, that second battery is pretty discounted, obviously, because the labor's already done.
It says here SolarEdge Energy Bank 10 kilowatt 212.03.
Okay, great. So another thing to mention is your commission on that, from what I hear, is substantially larger than the other option. So that might be a benefit. That equates to about $2 a day for your homeowners, $2 to $2.50 a day. So generally, that's how I like to talk to homeowners about, is breaking it up into bite-sized pieces instead of saying $16,000. That it's usually about $2.50 a day for your homeowners over the course of their loan.
So I have a question about the batteries.
Sure.
In the Solo tool, where it says 10 watt, 10 kilowatt, 20. So that's one battery, 2 batteries, 3 batteries, not one small one, one medium, and one large.
Yeah, that's right. Mhm.
Okay. And then if they decide to have it installed on, not on a wall, but on that platform, is that an additional charge?
Probably not through the Powur platform. It is an additional charge to the installer, but it's so inexpensive that I'm sure that they just wrap it right in.
All right, thanks.
Great questions. Anything else?
Michelle, I have a question.
Yeah.
So one of the deals that I just sold, it's actually my dad and his girlfriend. So the
Nice.
the battery that they sent, I don't know if it's a newer version or what, but it has a little mini fire extinguisher in it.
Uh-huh.
So are those new, or are those
Those
you guys
are
have already carried those?
We have been carrying those. Yeah. So that is a good mention. So a lot of our, and I will say too, congratulations on the sale. Woohoo. Yeah. But
Thank you.
The mini fire extinguisher. So our batteries are known for their safety. And in the ones that have the fire extinguisher, and then the ones that don't, they have the same safety mechanisms within it. So essentially what happens is, if there is a thermal event, which we've never, and by the way, that's like the sexy term for a fire. But if there were to be overheating in a battery, that extinguisher is going to go off. So it is essentially, there's no way there could be a fire with our battery solution, because there are extinguishers inside of it.
Have you had, because I haven't, the installers don't know how to install it. So initially that's what it is. So I was going to do a one-off. I was going to call you after this, see if you can send me your
Yeah,
contact
we have
info.
well, I mean, there is a very easy installation guide for the fire extinguisher. We also have, luckily, and for this whole group, field service engineers. We have 6 of them in Southern California. So it's almost excessive. So we can actually send our field service engineer to the site if we need to help.
Okay. Because there's 3 installers that the same place, they still haven't installed it. They
Okay.
don't know how to do it. So
Okay.
the
I'll
solar's
connect
turned
you
on,
with
but the
our-
battery is, yeah.
Our field service engineer right after this.
Cool. Thank you.
Mhm.
And I have a question on, occasionally I have homeowners that will ask me, is there any rebates? And since I'm not too familiar on I want to get more familiar with batteries, so I'm more confident in selling them. Does the state of California, or when they ask about rebates, where does that come in? Or is that, obviously that's independent from Powur?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So luckily with California, we have quite a bit of rebates. We have an SGIP, SGIP, which is a rebate specifically for people in higher fire zone areas. And so if you, and I'll put it in the chat too, if you Google SGIP or go to the SGIP site, it has all of that information on it. We also just came out with we're partnering with the CPA Clean Power Alliance, which is a part of Southern California Edison's group. So if you're in the Edison territory, we have a new incentive that just came out through Edison, which is $400 up front for your homeowners. And then an additional $400 at the year 1 anniversary for a battery solution. So if you're just coming into solar and maybe you haven't heard of these things, there's these new incentives called demand response, which is very cool, because what that means is the utility company can pull from the homeowner's batteries instead of turning on a peaker plant that's going to use a lot of very dirty energy to generate power in a very high demand time of day. So what these demand response incentives do, with this one called CPA battery incentive that we're a part of in and I'm putting it in the chat, in the SE territory. What that incentive does is it pays your homeowner upfront $400, essentially for the use of that battery every couple of days. They're going to pull a very small portion of the battery so that they can make up for any really high demand on the grid. So it's a pretty cool situation. We have a couple in like Utah, Colorado, and I will also put in, we have an incentives page on SolarEdge.com. So let me put that in here too. You can actually just select your state and it will give you information on which incentives are available. So there you go. That's probably going to be helpful as well.
Hey, Michelle, you mentioned some other links that you're going to put that you had on the slide deck.
Yeah, I'm going to send the slide deck over. Here's the link to the selling tool if you want. I'll put that in the chat for right now, but I'll send a follow-up email also that has all of those hyperlinks in it to the brochures and such.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
With the SGIP, isn't there an income component to that as well? Like you have to make below a certain amount of money to qualify for that SGIP?
You know, yeah, they're changing the SGIP a lot. So the SGIP's been around for a long time. And they have recently changed it to be much more promoting high fire zone areas. Has anybody worked with SGIP closely recently in terms of the requirements? Last time I was doing it, it was a bit of a challenge to qualify people a bit through it.
Yeah. Well, that was a thing that I had a homeowner ask me about it about a year and a half ago. And, you know, you had to make below a certain amount of money and you had to be in a high fire zone, and the high
Yeah.
fire zones were not the same as like you pay homeowners insurance in a high fire zone. They're kind of their own little thing. And
Yeah. They set the parameters. I know. And that's why, I mean, if I'm being honest, and I realize this is being recorded, but what the hell, I would say SGIP is a bit of a challenge to apply through. These other ones that are demand response are much simpler, because it's just pretty much like, hey, you're a homeowner, you have a battery, we're going to give you money. That's pretty much all it is. The SGIP is a little bit more of a process. And so if you're in the demand response territories, that might be a bit easier to go through.
so with that, you said that they just take a little bit of power out of your battery, because I could see, my concern with that would be they take a lot and then you need it and you don't have anything in your battery or whatever.
Yeah. So a couple of things, they definitely don't take it during any PSP events. So if your power's out, they're not taking the battery at all. Generally what happens is because there's so many batteries in Southern California, they will utilize it for 5 minutes or less. And then you will have the rest of that energy. Another thing is they can never deplete it over 80%. So you're always going to have 20% reserve in it no matter what. But from what I'm hearing, people that are actually involved in the demand response in California, they don't even notice the power is gone out of that battery. It's usually a very small amount that's taken out.
Okay, just
and they can always, if the homeowner sees it as a, they want to try it out and they see it as not being so great, they can opt out of it anytime.
okay. Then one other thing about battery rebates, some cities have their own rebates. Earlier this year, Anaheim had a $2,500 rebate on a battery. I don't know if they still do that, but some cities have their own rebates.
Yeah. So the Anaheim one was based on a volume commitment. And that was just through Anaheim Wind and Power, right?
Yeah, their own personal.
Yeah.
City of Anaheim's power.
Yeah. I think that Burbank may have had one too. And if you just Google solar incentives and then the city, a lot of times that will come right up for you. So it's really, I always look for the ones, frankly, that are like that upfront incentive, because they're generally easier to manage and for the homeowner to manage. And then, of course, the ITC, right, which has been extended to 30% for the next 10 years. So you also have that.
Awesome. These are all great questions. Anybody else? But we're about 10:50.
In my city in San Diego, it says average is 21,935 per system. What's the panel cost?
So for the solar system?
Yeah.
Where are you looking at?
SaveOnEnergy.com, San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely just use the Powur proposal to generate. I mean, you have that now to actually look at. There's always a lot of estimator tools online to how much a solar system actually is, but now that you have a tool available to give accurate numbers, I would use that.
Perfect. Brand new. Thank you.
Awesome. Anybody, any other question? We're close to our top of the hour. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. All right, Michelle, well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. This was phenomenal knowledge, especially on the battery side. I don't think it hurts. I think a lot of mentors shy away from the battery, so I never learned from mine, but I plan to be a battery nerd.
Great. I'm for sure a battery nerd. If we need to come back, do more trainings. I will say one thing about batteries is it is new to a lot of people. And it's a little bit more complex than solar, but once you get used to it, it's very simple. And in Southern California, it's going to almost be necessary at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. Really appreciate it. I know Chrislyn, I'll communicate. I took a screenshot of some of the emails. So she's going to email me the deck. I'll make sure to send that deck out to everybody. And if you don't get it, you can always reach out to me, Isela Bonada, either via Facebook or on our DMs. And then Chrislyn, I think Chrislyn was going to take over some announcement, but we're really appreciative. As you know, our Women of Power is a new platform. And so we're looking forward to our growth. So we really appreciate your knowledge, Michelle.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I put the Sales Elite sign up in the chat box too, if anybody needs that.
Okay, perfect.
All right,
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Just to end things off here, mark your calendars for these future events. As per usual, we have our Tuesday trainings with JB, Jonathan Bernasso. There's a link there. Wednesdays, we have our Breakthrough Mastermind through Power Live. So make sure you log in. Thursday, November 17th at 10 a.m. We have our weekly Woman of Power, and Isela Bonada will actually be doing our training next week. So don't miss it. It's going to be incredible. And then Thursday, the 17th at 12 p.m., we have Power On. You could find the link also on the Power calendar. And then Monday, we have our 5 p.m. Power Hours. So these are just some of our future events. And as mentioned, next week, mark your calendars, don't miss it. Isela is going to teach us how to manage your Power back office. She's really great. She has great experience in project management. So if you're struggling in this area, make sure to tune back in, and she's going to drop a lot of nuggets. So I think that's all for now, guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you all next week. Have a great day.
Thank you for taking the time to watch the Women of Power training series. I hope that you got some great value out of that video, and there's much, much more where that came from. Listen, if you'd like to join Power or find out more about this awesome and amazing platform, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is in the description. I look forward to connecting with you real soon. Have a great day.